Having half a brain, for most people, is a death sentence. This is not the case with Michelle Mack, a 37-year-old woman who was with only half of her brain since her birth. As Norman Deutsch, medicine writer, once said, the sum of the parts is more than the whole. Hello, my name is Bright, and I am a grade 9 student at South Point. And today I'll be talking about one of our body's most amazing features, neuroplasticity. However, in order to understand neuroplasticity, we need to first understand how it works. We can immediately see the two roots of this word, neuro and plastic. Neuro means of or relating to the brain, and plastic means easily molded or shaped. Combined, basically, it's the idea that our brain has the capability to remold or fix itself. First proposed in 1948, a Polish neurologist used the term to describe changes occurring in the neural system of the brain. And for the little kids here, basically, our brain changes as we grow. But how does neuroplasticity actually work? Well, it's all about the neurons. Neurons are the building blocks of our brain, and they communicate with each other through electrochemical signals. When we learn something new, these electrochemical signals create new pathways between neurons, forming new connections. And with practice, these connections become stronger, making it easier for us to access and use that information. I like to think of the brain as almost a superhighway, extremely fast, but also extremely dangerous. So imagine this, a one-lane superhighway. Sure, you can travel across it, but just like Highway 99, it's quite slow and it's often very congested. Okay, of course, I say pretty slow right now, but our brain, that's very relative because our brain is still capable of sending messages up to 100 meters per second, almost 3 times faster than the average speed of a car. Anyways, the more you practice that skill, eventually your brain starts removing that useless information. Or, if I'm using the analogy of a superhighway, it's like imposing a heavy toll on the bridge. Only those that have important information can cross the bridge, while those tourists are often discouraged because the toll is too expensive. So through more practice, you'll also create more and more lanes for that car to pass. So remember that one-lane superhighway that was extremely congested and absolutely no way should you travel that because it's way too slow. Now, with more practice, they'll eventually build more and more lanes so people are able to travel more for less risk of accidents and faster access to information. And the best part about all this, neuroplasticity isn't just for kids. So adults here, take notes. While it's true that our brains are shown to be more malleable in childhood, research has shown that neuroplasticity continues throughout our lives. It's never too late to learn something new, to challenge ourselves and our brains. In fact, studies have shown that engaging in mentally stimulating activities, such as writing, playing a new instrument, or even just walking, can actually slow down the aging process. However, there are always two sides to a coin, and I am not here to romanticize neuroplasticity. No, I'm here to inform you of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity can also work against us. Negative experiences and habits can also shape our brains, creating negative pathways and reinforcing bad behaviors. This is why it's so important to be mindful of our actions and to actively work towards positive change and growth. Okay, so now you may be wondering, okay, that's great and all, I know how neuroplasticity may work now, but how can I use this information? Well, one way is through deliberate practice. Deliberate practice involves breaking down complex skills into smaller, more manageable parts, and then practicing them regularly. This allows us to create and strengthen the neural pathways associated with that skill, be that playing a new instrument, learning a new hobby, or mastering a new language. Deliberate practice can help us improve our abilities, increase our brain power, and increase our efficiency. So, let's say you're trying to play an instrument, practice a new dancing or skating routine, or trying to nail down the constant octaves in La Campanella. You may think about memorizing everything as it comes to you and running through the whole thing multiple times to cement it into your brain. However, with this method, one small mistake could mean the end. It's like building a thin bridge with cement. Sure, you can cross it, but it's dangerous. And if you crash into the railings, the whole thing will come toppling down. Instead of running through the entire thing, splitting it into sections would be so much easier. So you know what? Let's take the left-hand octave from Chopin's Heroic Polonaise, because you know what? I'm a pianist, and it's known to many pianists as the devil's octaves. Although I couldn't bring a video, imagine playing 4 different octaves consistently at a speed of 8 octaves per second for almost 90 seconds. Do the math, that's around 720 octaves in just 90 seconds. Enough to make anybody's hands sore, unless they practice properly. And what does proper practice really entail? Well, as I said earlier, it's basically splitting it into sections. What I did was first play just normal octaves, slowly building up that muscle memory, that wrist flick every time you play an octave. From there, I started scaling up and down slowly until I was able to play those fast. Once I was able to play 4 to 5 notes consistently, I started repeating the notes. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly and then gaining speed. And eventually, my left hand was finally able to catch my right hand. Now, all this was kind of to show off, but it also proved as a concrete example of how neuroplasticity can benefit us. And it's not just piano, though I use the example because I'm a pianist. Another way to promote neuroplasticity is through a healthy lifestyle. And I'm sure you've heard this many times now, but because it's so important, I cannot help but stress these over and over again. I will repeat them as many times as I need to. Exercise, proper nutrition, and quality sleep all play an important role in brain health and neuroplasticity. I'll talk about the last one later, but that's something that teens don't get often. Physical activity has been shown to increase the production of neurotrophic factors, basically anything that improves the growth rate of your brain. Proper nutrition, especially foods rich with omega-3 like chocolate, like fish, and also chocolate, can also promote brain health and function. Though don't eat too much chocolate, your heart won't like you. Quality sleep is also crucial for giving your brain a rest and your eyes a chance to close. And that's actually the time where your brain actually consolidates all the thoughts in your everyday life, forming what we call dreams. And also, quality sleep is also crucial in the development of brains, though teenagers need to get that more because we have so much schoolwork, it is crazy. Anyways, in conclusion, neuroplasticity is one of the most fascinating and powerful features of the human brain. It allows us to adapt and learn throughout our entire life and to continually grow and improve ourselves. But it's not something that just happens. We have to work towards positive change and growth and be mindful of the habits and experiences that shape our brains. So I urge all you listeners who are listening here, let's embrace the full power of neuroplasticity and unlock the full potential of our amazing brains. Thank you.